On a humid summer evening in a quiet suburban town, a rowdy gang of bikers roared into view with engines growling and headlights blazing, setting the stage for a night that would change many lives. Their leather-clad figures, etched against the dimming sky, exuded a dangerous aura as they cruised along the empty stretch of highway toward the heart of the town. Among the group, aggressive banter and jeers filled the air, each word punctuated by the clatter of metal and the rumble of engines. Unbeknownst to them, at the edge of a quiet cul-de-sac, a solitary teen named Marcus observed their approach with cautious eyes and a readiness born of years of discipline. Marcus, who had spent countless hours in a local dojo mastering martial arts, carried himself with a calm confidence that belied his youth. The distant sound of revving engines mingled with the chirping of crickets, creating an ominous backdrop that hinted at an impending clash of wills. As the bikers gathered near a run-down diner, their laughter and crude remarks filled the twilight, echoing down empty streets with a menacing edge. The group's leader, a towering figure with a scarred face and a voice that commanded authority, stepped forward and sneered at anyone daring to cross their path. Meanwhile, Marcus, hidden behind a chain-link fence and a scattering of overgrown shrubs, silently assessed the situation with the keen instincts of a trained fighter. His heart pounded steadily in his chest as he recalled the many lessons of discipline and self-defense that had been instilled in him since childhood. The bikers, emboldened by alcohol and their collective bravado, began to taunt a lone passerby, their voices growing louder and more threatening with each passing second. In the distance, the neon sign of the diner flickered erratically, its intermittent glow adding a surreal quality to the unfolding drama. The tension in the air was palpable as the bikers circled around their target, unaware that their menacing act was about to meet an unexpected obstacle. Among the murmurs of derision, one of the bikers pointed an accusing finger at Marcus, mistakenly assuming him to be an easy mark for their aggression. Fueled by a sense of misplaced entitlement and bravado, the bikers advanced toward the fence, their eyes glittering with a dangerous mix of malice and amusement. Marcus maintained a stoic expression, his mind focused and his body poised, every muscle prepared for the confrontation he knew might be inevitable. The evening air thickened with anticipation as the bikers' crude shouts escalated into full-blown threats directed at the unsuspecting teen. Their voices, harsh and booming, carried accusations and insults that resonated in the stillness of the suburban night. Marcus, though visibly young, had the composure of someone far beyond his years, his silence a testament to the inner strength he had cultivated over time. As the gang neared the fence, their leader bellowed a challenge that seemed to invite trouble, his eyes locked on Marcus with a predatory gleam. The world around them appeared to slow down, every detail, from the distant hum of traffic to the whisper of the wind, taking on a heightened clarity. In that suspended moment, Marcus's training took over, and a calm resolve replaced any trace of fear or hesitation in his gaze. The bikers, reveling in their perceived dominance, failed to notice the subtle shift in the teen's posture that spoke of hidden readiness. With a measured breath, Marcus stepped out from behind the fence, his movements fluid and deliberate as if choreographed by years of rigorous practice. His sudden appearance drew startled gasps from the gang, momentarily disrupting the rhythm of their taunts and jeers. The leader's eyes narrowed in disbelief as he took in the sight of a teen standing unarmed yet exuding an unmistakable aura of martial prowess. A murmur of uncertainty passed among the bikers, their confidence beginning to waver under the weight of Marcus's silent challenge. The night, which moments ago had been filled with reckless bravado, now resonated with a tense expectancy of the unexpected confrontation. Each biker exchanged uneasy glances as they reassessed the situation, suddenly aware that their aggressive display might have misfired. Marcus's calm voice broke the silence as he addressed them in a measured tone, his words cutting through the charged atmosphere like a precise strike. "I suggest you reconsider your actions," he said, his tone steady and his eyes unwavering, a stark contrast to their earlier belligerence. His words, though few, carried the weight of discipline and the promise of swift retribution for any further provocation. The leader scoffed at the remark, dismissing it as the futile bravado of a child unaware of the true cost of defiance. However, the dismissive laughter quickly faltered as Marcus shifted his stance, signaling that his resolve was as real as the tension in the air. In that fleeting moment, the roles of aggressor and defender blurred as the bikers realized that they had underestimated a force they could not easily subdue. The clamor of their engines and the echoes of their earlier threats were replaced by a heavy silence as they weighed the potential consequences of their actions. Marcus's presence, marked by a disciplined serenity and a readiness to act, sent a ripple of apprehension through the assembled gang. The night deepened around them, the shadows lengthening as each biker grappled with the dawning realization that their cruelty had provoked a formidable adversary. In that charged moment, the boundary between youthful innocence and hardened aggression was redrawn, with Marcus standing firm as the arbiter of his own fate. As the tension reached its zenith, the bikers hesitated, their bravado giving way to uncertainty, setting the stage for a confrontation that would soon spiral beyond their control. In the moments following the initial standoff, the atmosphere around Cul-de-sac grew electric, each second laden with the weight of imminent consequence. The gang of bikers, still reeling from the shock of Marcus's unexpected defiance, exchanged nervous glances that betrayed cracks in their once unified front. Their engines idled in a reluctant chorus, the low rumble echoing against silent houses and empty streets as if warning of the storm to come. Marcus, standing resolutely with his arms loosely at his sides, maintained an unwavering gaze that challenged each biker to reconsider their hostile intentions. The leader, now visibly unsettled by the teen's composed stance, spat a string of insults that attempted to mask his growing apprehension. Yet every word he uttered seemed to falter in the face of Marcus's calm, as if his usual swagger was being slowly stripped away. A hush fell over the scene as the tension mounted, the only sound the distant hum of traffic mingling with the occasional rustle of leaves. The teen's posture, refined by years of disciplined training, spoke volumes about the inner strength he possessed despite his apparent youth. One of the bikers, emboldened by the group's earlier bravado, stepped forward with a sneer, determined to break the silence with a show of force. He advanced with clumsy aggression, attempting to intimidate Marcus with exaggerated gestures and loud, abrasive taunts. But Marcus merely tilted his head slightly, his eyes narrowing as he assessed the aggressor's futile display of hostility. With the precision of a practiced fighter, he moved gracefully, sidestepping the biker's clumsy lunge as if anticipating every move. The act of evasion, executed with a quiet efficiency, sent a ripple of astonishment through the gathered bikers who now realized the teen was far from defenseless. A murmur of discontent and disbelief ran through the gang as they began to grasp that their threat had met an adversary far more skilled than they had assumed. The leader barked out orders in a futile attempt to rally his men, his voice strained by the sudden reversal of fortunes. As the biker who had challenged Marcus stumbled back, the others shifted uneasily, the reality of the situation settling over them like a dense fog. The surrounding night seemed to hold its breath, every shadow and whispered wind accentuating the charged stillness of the moment. In that suspended time, Marcus's calm presence contrasted sharply with the aggressive energy that had once defined the biker's entrance. He spoke again in a clear, unwavering tone, his voice measured and devoid of malice, yet carrying an implicit warning of consequences yet to come. "There is no need for further conflict," he stated, each word deliberate and imbued with the authority of someone who had faced much greater odds. His declaration hung in the air, a stark invitation for reason in a situation that had spiraled dangerously toward violence. The leader's face reddened with a mix of anger and humiliation as he processed the teen's words, feeling his authority waver under the weight of truth. In response, another biker scoffed loudly, attempting to undermine Marcus's calm with crude gestures that only deepened the tension. But even as the sneers and crude laughs filled the night, Marcus remained an unyielding pillar of resolve, his eyes fixed on the ground ahead. The quiet confidence in his stance spoke of long hours spent mastering techniques that could neutralize aggression with minimal effort. As his silent challenge reverberated through the group, the bikers began to murmur among themselves, their earlier bravado now tinged with doubt. One by one, the tough facades of the gang began to crumble, replaced by the dawning realization that they were outmatched in this confrontation. The leader's lips pressed into a thin line as he realized that his control over the situation was slipping away, his commands growing desperate. Marcus's unwavering calm, in stark contrast to their erratic behavior, highlighted the futility of their threats and the inevitability of their impending regret. The tension was palpable, each biker caught between the desire to assert dominance and the instinct to retreat from an unforeseen adversary. In that charged moment, the night itself seemed to conspire in favor of the teen, every distant sound accentuating the gravity of the standoff. The leader took a tentative step back, his bravado replaced by an uncertain hesitance that rippled through his crew. Marcus, with a slight nod that acknowledged the silent shift in power, maintained his steady vigil as if preparing for a final resolution. The clamor of dissent among the bikers grew softer as more of them began to question the wisdom of their aggressive approach. Each passing second further eroded their collective confidence, leaving behind an atmosphere heavy with regret and impending consequence. In the waning moments of the standoff, the The gang's defiant energy transformed into a cautious retreat, the once roaring engines now reduced to idle murmurs. The leader, his pride wounded by the turn of events, cast a final glare at Marcus before signaling his men to withdraw into the dark veil of night. As the bikers slowly retreated, the silence that followed was imbued with the heavy realization of the miscalculation they had made. Marcus stood alone under the soft glow of streetlights, his presence a testament to the power of disciplined resolve over brute force. In that lingering moment of stillness, the night bore witness to a lesson etched in regret, a warning that aggression against a prepared spirit was a path to self-destruction. In the immediate aftermath of the bikers' retreat, the quiet street seemed to exhale a collective sigh of relief as if nature itself recognized the triumph of calm over chaos. Marcus, still standing in the gentle glow of the streetlights, felt the steady rhythm of his heartbeat merge with the silent pulse of the night. His eyes, reflecting both the relief of a narrowly avoided brawl and the resolve of one who had defended his dignity, scanned the empty road where danger had lurked moments before. Every detail of the scene, the cool breeze, the distant hum of a lone car, and the soft rustling of leaves, contributed to an ambience of cautious hope. The confrontation had left an indelible mark on the suburban night, a reminder that even in the face of brute aggression, discipline and self-control could prevail. As Marcus slowly moved toward his modest home, each step was measured and deliberate, echoing the internal calm that had allowed him to stand his ground. The quiet determination in his gait spoke of a life devoted to training and self-improvement, qualities that had transformed him from a vulnerable teen into a guardian of his own fate. Memories of countless hours in the dojo and under the tutelage of wise mentors surfaced in his mind, reinforcing the importance of patience and precision in times of crisis. With every step, he felt the weight of the night's events, not as a burden, but as a badge of honor that testified to the power of restraint over aggression. The street, now emptied of hostility, became a canvas for introspection as Marcus contemplated the events that had unfolded with a clear, unclouded mind. His thoughts turned to the bikers, whose bravado had melted away under the heat of their misjudgment, leaving them to grapple with the consequences of their reckless behavior. In that reflective silence, Marcus understood that true strength was not measured by the ability to inflict pain but by the courage to defend oneself without succumbing to violence. The suburban houses, their windows aglow with warm light, formed a protective circle around him, silently affirming that peace could be restored even after tumultuous encounters. Every step he took was both a journey home and a journey inward, a quiet reaffirmation of his beliefs and the skills that defined him. As he neared his destination, the gentle hum of a nearby lawnmower and the distant chatter of late-night neighbors wove together a tapestry of normalcy that contrasted sharply with the earlier turmoil. Marcus's mind, still sharp and focused, replayed the confrontation like a well-rehearsed sequence, each moment a lesson in the art of controlled response. He recalled the fleeting expressions of regret on the bikers' faces, images that would serve as a constant reminder of the cost of unbridled aggression. In his heart, a quiet pride blossomed, not for the fight itself, but for the fact that he had upheld his principles without resorting to needless brutality. The cool night air carried away the remnants of tension, replacing them with a soothing calm that wrapped around him like a familiar embrace. Every sound, every shadow, contributed to an atmosphere of reflective serenity that allowed Marcus to process the weight of his actions and the wisdom behind them. The events of the night served as a silent manifesto against the use of brute force as a means of resolving conflicts, a lesson that resonated deeply within him. As he unlocked the gate to his modest home, he felt a renewed sense of purpose that extended far beyond the immediate confrontation. The darkened porch, illuminated only by the soft glow of a single street lamp, welcomed him with a promise of refuge and a space for further introspection. Inside, the quiet hum of a fan and the gentle ticking of a clock filled the room, underscoring the steady passage of time in contrast to the fleeting chaos of the night. Marcus sat at his desk, his thoughts flowing as freely as the ink from his pen, each recollection a testament to the strength that lay within him. His journal, a collection of observations and lessons learned over the years, now held fresh entries that chronicled the events of that fateful evening. The pages, marked with the scars of past struggles and triumphs, became a silent witness to the transformation that had taken place under the watchful eyes of the night. With deliberate care, he recorded every detail, knowing that his words might one day guide someone else through the storm of adversity. In the quiet solitude of his room, the weight of the encounter mingled with a sense of relief, forging a powerful narrative of resilience and responsibility. The simple act of writing transformed into a ritual, each sentence an affirmation of his belief that discipline and compassion were mightier than any display of raw strength. Outside, the night continued its steady progression, the distant sounds of nocturnal life offering a counterpoint to the intensity of his recollections. The lessons of the evening were etched into his memory, a constant reminder that even in the face of unexpected danger, one could choose the path of honor and restraint. Marcus's eyes, reflective and determined, mirrored the calm acceptance of a warrior who understood that true victory was measured not by the bloodshed of adversaries, but by the integrity of one's own spirit. The soft glow of the desk lamp illuminated his focused expression as he committed his thoughts to paper, the silence punctuated only by the scratch of his pen. In that intimate space, every word he wrote was imbued with the hard-won wisdom of experience, a silent pledge to uphold the values that had seen him through the night. The rhythmic cadence of his writing echoed the disciplined patterns of his training, each line a reaffirmation of the power of self-control over impulsive retaliation. As the night deepened, a profound sense of calm settled over him, bridging the gap between the harsh lessons of confrontation and the gentle promise of a new dawn. The encounter, with all its raw emotion and unexpected reversals, became a cornerstone of his personal narrative, a story of courage, humility, and unwavering resolve. In the quiet aftermath, Marcus recognized that the true battle was not against external foes, but against the internal forces of fear and uncertainty that threatened to undermine his progress. With the final stroke of his pen, he closed his journal, a small yet potent act that signified not an end, but the continuous journey of learning and self-discovery. As dawn broke over the town, the first light of morning bathed the quiet streets in a soft, golden hue that promised renewal after the night's turbulent events. The bikers, now scattered and subdued by the regret of their miscalculation, retreated into the shadows of their own thoughts, their earlier bravado replaced by introspection. In a small, sparsely furnished apartment on the outskirts of town, the gang's leader stared blankly at a flickering television screen, the images a stark reminder of his crumbled authority. His mind replayed the moment when Marcus's calm defiance had shattered his illusions of invincibility, leaving him to confront the bitter truth of his own vulnerability. Across town, Marcus prepared for a new day with quiet determination, the events of the previous night fueling a resolve to continue his journey of discipline and self-improvement. The rising sun cast long shadows on the pavement as he stepped outside, each stride imbued with the silent assurance of one who had faced danger and emerged unscathed. Neighbors, stirring from slumber, noticed the unusual calm in the air, a subtle shift in the community's heartbeat that hinted at the transformative power of the night's events. In the local dojo, the sound of focused training echoed as Marcus's instructors reviewed his performance, their expressions reflecting both pride and cautious concern. Every movement he made was a precise echo of the rigorous lessons that had prepared him for the unpredictable challenges of life, a testament to the power of consistent practice. Meanwhile, whispers of the confrontation spread throughout the town like wildfire, each retelling further embellishing the quiet courage of the teen who had stood his ground. The local news, always hungry for a compelling story, began to piece together the fragments of that turbulent night, painting a picture of raw bravery and unexpected redemption. In a modest cafe where early risers gather for their morning coffee, hushed conversations revolved around the mysterious teen whose calm had disarmed a gang of notorious bikers. Faces filled with a mixture of admiration and disbelief recounted the events with reverence, the story quickly becoming a modern-day parable of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Outside the cafe, a mural of the town's history, long faded by time, seemed to take on a new significance as the community absorbed the lessons of the night before. The biker leader, now a solitary figure in a darkened room, grappled with the reality that the persona he had carefully cultivated was nothing more than a fragile mask. His reflections were punctuated by bitter memories of past confrontations and the hard lessons learned in the brutal arena of street conflicts. As the morning progressed, the weight of regret and self-reproach settled over him like a heavy shroud, leaving him isolated in his own thoughts. Across town, Marcus's quiet journey continued, each step measured and deliberate as he moved toward a future shaped by discipline, responsibility, and unyielding resolve. The community, inspired by the resilience of one of their own, began to question the long-held beliefs that had once justified brute force as a means of asserting power. In classrooms and community centers, teachers and leaders alike used the story of the night's events to spark discussions on ethics, self-defense, and the transformative power of restraint. The air, filled with the soft promise of a new day, carried with it a subtle charge, a collective understanding that true strength lay in the courage to act with honor, even in the face of provocation. Marcus, now a symbol of that strength, found his days interwoven with small acts of mentorship and quiet leadership that furthered the cause of peaceful resilience. His calm demeanor and unwavering focus served as a guiding light for others, a reminder that the path to true power was paved with self-control and wisdom. As the morning light grew brighter, the remnants of fear and aggression began to dissolve, replaced by an emerging hope for a more compassionate and united community. In the solitude of his dojo, Marcus practiced his forms with a renewed intensity, each precise movement a living testament to the discipline that had defended him the night before. His instructors observed with quiet pride as he embodied the principles of respect, patience, and the effective use of strength for self-defense rather than aggression. Outside, the town's streets transformed into a canvas of possibility, where every passerby seemed to carry the memory of a night when violence was met with dignified resistance. The biker leader, haunted by his failure, resolved to confront his inner demons, a journey of self-reflection that promised to reshape his identity far from the allure of unchecked bravado. In a quiet corner of the town's main square, a small group of residents gathered to discuss ways to promote peace and mutual understanding in the wake of recent events. Their conversation, earnest and unpretentious, served as a counterpoint to the earlier chaos, emphasizing dialogue over violence and compassion over conflict. The sun climbed steadily higher, its warm rays dissolving the lingering shadows of the night and illuminating a path toward healing and unity. Each conversation, every thoughtful gesture, contributed to a slow but persistent shift in the community's collective mindset, a move away from retribution and toward reconciliation. Marcus, quietly aware of the changes around him, continued to inspire without seeking attention, his actions speaking louder than any words could. The lessons of the night were etched into the fabric of the town, a constant reminder that courage and restraint were the true measures of strength. In homes and public spaces alike, the narrative of the teen who had stood firm against overwhelming odds became a symbol of hope and possibility. The biker leader's internal struggle, though painful, ignited a spark of introspection that promised a future where violence would no longer be the default response to conflict. With every rising moment, the community edged closer to embracing the ideals of empathy, understanding, and the transformative power of peaceful resistance. The morning, bright and unyielding, served as a backdrop to this profound metamorphosis, each ray of sunlight a silent witness to the birth of a new era. As the town awoke fully to the promise of a better day, the memory of the previous night lingered like a cautionary tale, a reminder of what was lost and what could be regained. In that quiet crescendo of hope and reflection, the promise of change was sealed by the resolute spirit of a teen who had transformed potential violence into an enduring legacy of peace. As the day advanced into a bustling afternoon, the town buzzed with a renewed energy born from the transformative events of the night before, its streets alive with whispered legends of courage and discipline. Local businesses, once shadowed by the remnants of fear, reopened their doors to a community eager to reclaim normalcy and foster an environment of mutual respect. In a small park near the town center, families gathered for picnics and leisurely strolls, their conversations punctuated by references to the remarkable bravery of the young Marcus. The park's old oak tree, a silent witness to generations of change, seemed to stand taller that day, its sprawling branches symbolizing the shelter and protection that unity could offer. Community leaders organized impromptu gatherings to discuss how best to build upon the momentum of peaceful resistance, their voices a blend of hope and pragmatic resolve. Among these leaders, Marcus's story was recounted with both admiration and a sober reminder of the responsibilities that came with wielding true strength. The local school invited a guest speaker to talk about conflict resolution and the importance of self-defense, using Marcus's example as a modern-day lesson in resilience. Teachers and counselors alike emphasized that the true art of defense lay not in the infliction of harm, but in the measured response to aggression and the courage to stand firm in one's convictions. As the community's discourse deepened, the biker leader's earlier miscalculation became a cautionary tale, a narrative of regret that underscored the perils of unchecked pride. His story, shared in hushed tones at town meetings and community centers, served as a mirror reflecting the dangers of letting aggression override wisdom. Meanwhile, Marcus continued his daily routines with a quiet dignity, his disciplined presence a steady anchor amid the town's evolving identity. In the local dojo, his instructors noted subtle improvements in his technique, a natural progression born of the intense confrontation and the lessons it imparted. The rhythmic cadence of training, marked by disciplined strikes and graceful maneuvers, echoed the enduring power of self-control and focus. As Marcus sparred with fellow students, each precise movement reinforced the notion that true strength was measured in restraint and responsibility. The dojo's walls, adorned with photographs of past champions and mentors, now bore a new addition, a candid snapshot of Marcus during the confrontation, immortalizing his quiet defiance. In nearby homes, residents discussed the importance of community solidarity, their conversations a mixture of relief, hope, and a cautious optimism for the future. The town's local newspaper ran a thoughtful editorial that recounted the events with a balanced tone, highlighting both the potential for change and the need for ongoing vigilance. Every headline and column served as a reminder that the path to true reform was paved with small, consistent acts of courage and a commitment to empathy. In the midst of these public reflections, a group of youth volunteers organized a community art project, inviting residents to contribute to a mural that celebrated unity and resilience. The blank wall on the side of an old community center soon transformed into a vibrant tableau of colors and images, each brushstroke capturing the collective spirit of a town reborn. Passers-by paused to admire the mural, their eyes reflecting the shared hope that the painful lessons of the past could give way to a brighter, more compassionate future. The biker leader, now a shadow of his former self, began to frequent community support meetings, his presence a quiet acknowledgement of the need for personal change. In one such meeting, he listened intently as elders recounted stories of past mistakes and the long road to redemption, their voices soft yet resolute. His attendance, though tentative, symbolized a willingness to confront the demons of his past and to seek a path toward genuine reconciliation. As discussions unfolded, the importance of forgiveness emerged as a recurring theme, a balm for wounds inflicted by pride and unbridled aggression. The community's embrace of that message fostered an environment where even those who had once perpetrated harm could find a route toward redemption. In the gentle afternoon light, the town's streets bore witness to countless small acts of kindness, a shared smile, a helping hand, a word of encouragement that slowly mended the rift between neighbors. Marcus, aware of the powerful ripple effect his actions had ignited, remained a humble participant in the town's collective healing process. His interactions with peers, neighbors, and even former adversaries were marked by an unassuming grace that exemplified the true essence of strength. The mural, a sprawling canvas of communal artistry, stood as a constant reminder of the transformative power of unity and the enduring legacy of peaceful resistance. As the day slowly turned toward dusk, the town's energy shifted toward celebration, with plans for a community festival that would honor the resilience of its people. The festival was designed not as a mere spectacle, but as a sincere tribute to the lessons learned from that fateful night, a night when courage and discipline redefined the meaning of strength. In preparation for the celebration, volunteers meticulously decorated the town square with lights, banners, and symbols that evoked the spirit of renewal and togetherness. Local musicians rehearsed with heartfelt passion, their melodies a stirring blend of hope and remembrance that resonated through every corner of the town. Food stalls and communal tables were set up, inviting residents to share in the bounty of a community united by its shared experiences and aspirations. The air heavy with the aroma of freshly prepared dishes and the soft strains of acoustic instruments became a living canvas for the town's newfound optimism. Every interaction, every shared glance, was imbued with the knowledge that the hardships of the past had given way to a collective determination to build a better future. In that vibrant afternoon, the town's transformation was not only visible in its physical spaces, but also felt deeply in the hearts of its residents, a testament to the power of unity over division. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the community gathered together, their voices raised in a harmonious chorus of hope and solidarity. With the festival in full swing and the mural standing proudly as a symbol of their journey, the town celebrated not just survival, but the promise of continued growth, guided by the quiet strength of a remarkable team. As night settled once again over the town, the echoes of the day's celebration intertwined with the quiet murmur of reflective souls, marking the close of a chapter defined by transformation and hard-earned wisdom. The community, still buoyed by the afternoon's festival, gradually dispersed into the warm embrace of their homes, each individual carrying the memory of unity and the lessons of peaceful resistance. In the cool darkness, the neon lights of the town's modest businesses flickered softly, casting gentle shadows that danced to the rhythm of the night. Marcus, now alone on a quiet street corner under a star-studded sky, took a moment to reflect on the events that had reshaped the town and his own identity. The adrenaline of the earlier confrontation had long subsided, replaced by a serene clarity that came from knowing he had stood up for himself with both honor and restraint. Every step he took was measured, his mind filled with the images of that tumultuous night and the subsequent dawn of a more compassionate community. In the distance, the soft strains of a piano, played from an open window, melded with a cool night air, creating an ambience of quiet introspection and promise. Marcus recalled the determination in his own eyes during the confrontation, a spark that had ignited a chain reaction of change and reflection across the town. The bikers, whose earlier aggression had once darkened the streets, now lingered in memory as cautionary figures in a tale of regret and unexpected redemption. Even the leader's solitary moments of remorse, spent in quiet isolation and introspection, contributed to the overall narrative of transformation that now defined the community. In his small room, illuminated by the gentle glow of a bedside lamp, Marcus opened a new page in his journal, a ritual that had become a source of solace and strength. With careful strokes of his pen, he recorded the events of the night, each word a testament to the power of discipline and the enduring impact of self-control. His writing was measured and deliberate, a reflection of the calm that had replaced the earlier chaos and the hope that now filled every corner of his heart. Outside, the town's streets lay quiet and contemplative, as if the very air had absorbed the lessons of the day and was now whispering promises of renewal. Neighbors, having retreated to their homes after the festival, found themselves enveloped in a peaceful silence that contrasted starkly with the earlier tension. The night's cool embrace seemed to smooth out the rough edges of the past, offering a gentle reprieve from the scars of conflict and regret. As Marcus continued to write, he felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the support and resilience of a community that had learned to embrace change. Every sentence he penned reinforced the belief that true strength lay not in violence, but in the courage to confront adversity with dignity and calm determination. The lessons of the night were etched into his very being, a quiet promise to himself and to those who looked to him as a beacon of hope. In the solitude of his room, surrounded by the soft murmur of the night and the gentle rustle of turning pages, Marcus felt the transformative power of forgiveness and growth. His thoughts wandered to the bikers, imagining the long road of redemption they might one day walk if only they embraced the lessons hidden within their regret. The possibility of change, however remote, glimmered like a distant star, a symbol that even those steeped in past mistakes could find a path toward renewal. Outside his window, the moon cast a silvery light over the quiet streets, as if blessing the town with the promise of a better tomorrow. Marcus closed his journal with a sense of finality and hope, knowing that every challenge he had faced contributed to the steady building of his character. The gentle hum of nighttime life, distant traffic, a dog barking softly, the whisper of wind in the trees, formed a soothing symphony that underscored the night's reflective mood. In that quiet interlude, every soul in the town seemed to be engaged in its own private meditation on the events that had unfolded, each person quietly vowing to learn from the past. Marcus's thoughts, deep and unhurried, were filled with visions of a future where respect and understanding replaced the fleeting satisfaction of aggression. His mind wandered to the dojo, to the many hours of training that had prepared him for moments of crisis, and he felt a surge of gratitude for every lesson learned. The night, with its calm and measured pace, allowed him to reconcile the conflicting emotions of anger, regret, and hope that had characterized the evening. Every memory, every fleeting glimpse of fear or determination was catalogued in his mind like the pages of an unwritten epic, a chronicle of growth and resilience. As he prepared for sleep, the events of the night swirled in his thoughts, each recollection a reminder that the journey toward personal and communal betterment was unending. The soft glow of the streetlights outside provided a comforting reassurance that even in darkness, there was light to be found in unity and understanding. In the stillness of his room, Marcus felt the weight of his responsibilities and the quiet joy of having defended his honor without descending into violence. His determination to continue walking the path of discipline and self-improvement shone as brightly as the moon overhead, unwavering and pure. Every lesson learned that night was a building block for a future where conflict could be transformed into opportunities for growth and reconciliation. The peaceful cadence of the night offered a stark contrast to the earlier cacophony of anger and regret, illustrating that true change required time and introspection. In his heart, Marcus nurtured a quiet hope that the bikers, too, might someday see the error of their ways and embark on a journey toward redemption. The promise of tomorrow, illuminated by the soft glow of starlight, whispered of a new beginning built on the foundation of compassion and self-discipline. As sleep finally beckoned, Marcus allowed himself a moment of gratitude for the resilience of the human spirit and the possibility of transformation in even the darkest hours. In that final tender moment before sleep claimed him, the night stood as a silent testament to the power of peaceful defiance and the enduring hope of a community reborn.